Come on. Hey, y'all. Let's get it. It's the Sportsnet special episode. Jake Crain.
Remember the name when it came with the vision. Matt brought it all in the frame. Nobody rocking like Shane. Give you them facts from the brain. Every take hot like a flame. Then us going out with a bang.
Welcome to Sports Nuts University. Hey, let's go. Hey, let's go. Welcome to Sports Nuts University. We run this show. We run this show. Welcome to Sports Nuts University. Hands up. Get loud, hands up, get loud. Welcome to Sports Nuts University. SNU, wow, making you proud.
You are now listening to The Sports Nuts.
You know, that intro gets me every time. That's a pretty amazing intro. I hope you guys have had a fantastic day. We have a very special treat for you. Real quick, shout out to everybody listening to us live on 95.5 KFCE, TigerNation.live, and all the other amazing radio stations that we air on, as well as our international audience. We now air in 60 countries worldwide. Thank you guys. Literally, you're the backbone. All right, so tonight, our good friend Mark, as you see, he is sitting next to me right here. He is going to interview Jake Crain of On3’s. Jake, man, how are you doing, sir?
Man, I'm doing great. Dude, that intro, I was like captivated by that.
I know.
Like, I'm going to be honest, I was not
man.
expecting that. And I was like halfway through it. I was like, golly, like SNU looks pretty dope.
My daughter has said, Daddy, I want to go to that school. And I'm like, it's not a real school, honey. But she's like, but I want to go.
It could be. Like, have you ever seen the movie Accepted? We could start it.
We could start it, actually. So I will be in the background. But Mark, Jake, you guys have an absolute fantastic interview. And Jake, thank you again for really coming on. We appreciate you, man.
Of course, buddy. Thank y'all.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, college football is finally back. Today we got the perfect guest to lead into that season. Jake Crain, as one of the most recognizable voices covering college football, bringing a unique perspective that's a lot different because before he ever sat behind that microphone, he was actually a coach in the game. Jake, appreciate you, man. How you doing tonight?
Oh, Mark, I tell you what, I don't care if it's week 0, week 1, week 1.2, or week 3.3. I'm just glad we get some college football here soon, man. And you know, a lot of the stuff off the field, I feel like we've been talking about it forever. I feel like I could pass the bar at this point with the amount of lawyering we've had to talk about on the show. So I'm ready for kickoff, man, so we can get the talking out of the way and watch them talk with the pads.
Yeah, we can actually talk some actual ball and not the off-season stuff. I feel you, man. I'm so hyped up, man. So, Jake, what we're going to do, how we're going to go, I mean, we're going to definitely I would definitely want to talk about the season and preview that a little bit. But in researching what I'd like to also do, because there's some things about your journey to where you're at now that kind of intrigue me. So I kind of want to get a little bit of information about that, ask you a couple questions about that, about your journey. Like I said, 2020, you're coaching football. COVID all of a sudden hits. Suddenly that path gets interrupted. At what point does starting a football show enter your mind?
Well, it's like, I'll be honest, sometimes I think I'm in a coma and like I got hit by an 18-wheeler when I was recruiting, and I'm gonna wake up and I'm still in Montana coaching. Man, to be honest with you, I was a broadcast journalism major in college. So when we got sent back when COVID hit, because nobody knew what was going on, and when you're coaching in Montana, most of the people that play football in Montana are from Montana. I was not.
Right.
I'm from the South, from Alabama, Mississippi. So they sent us back. I went back and was just trying to really kind of kill some time. in between waiting to go back and going back. Because again, early signing period and that stuff was coming in the forefront. A lot of the recruiting aspect of what I had at that point was done, even though it's really never done. I'd already made my contacts for the next year and this, that, and the other. So that's why I called it the J Boys show, because I didn't want anybody to know it was me, and it was just audio, it wasn't video.
Right.
So I was like, look, it'd be fun. Just bought like a $50 mic, and used the Anchor app. Which, if you know me technologically, I am not Steve Jobs by any stretch of the imagination.
That's why Brandon sits in the background with me,
dude,
because I don't know what I'm doing.
It was the greatest scientific accomplishment of my life, was figuring out a way to get that on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So I did, and make a long story short, it grew really fast. Like, I didn't know what was good or not. Like, I thought, like Joe Rogan's good, like 1 million views an episode. That's really good. That's the top. And it just kept getting bigger and bigger. And by the time, the 3.5, 4 weeks or whatever, almost a month that I was gone, it had gotten to the point where people wanted to like pay me more than I was making to do this. In aggregate, really. So I was like, look, I called my head coach I work for, and he was like, look, you're young. You can always get back in it, give it a shot. So I did. And man, it just, from there, took off, all from Cowherd. Then we signed with the Daily Wire when we were renegotiating with Cowherd, and then signed with On3 when we were renegotiating with the Daily Wire. So it's I can't believe it. And I'm sitting here, and I got 2 little girls, and we live in Brentwood, Tennessee, and I can still pay the mortgage. So I guess it's going good.
Going pretty good. So, me and you kind of had the same journey in certain aspects. I'm a digital media journalism graduate, University of Penn State.
Let's go.
On Nittany Lions.
You weren't in a frat, were you?
Dude, I just graduated this summer, man. I'm 46.
Oh, then you could have been. No, I'm just kidding. Could have been part of the ring.
I was literally the oldest person to walk across the stage, man. So literally,
that's awesome. Good for you, dude.
So yeah. But one thing I do want to ask you though, man, is because you started out as a J Boy show. Now you got Crain and Cone and stuff. At what point did you think, okay, this is actually something that I can actually, expand on?
I would say, be like, look, I feel like I can ball at this. Like, I need to I would say, I've always been confident in myself if I really put my mind to do something. Not that it always works out like this. It hasn't. I would say probably the moment when I moved to Atlanta, had some investors that wanted to put me on video, and did a video, actually interviewed Hugh Freeze in front of them. Then they took me out to dinner, and they were like, look, we think this thing can be huge, like this, that, and the other. And I was like, all right, I believe them, honestly. But so we started video, and literally only a month and a half after we started video, I get an email from Colin Cowherd's producer.
Oh, wow.
It was like, hey, we want you to do the college football show for The Volume, which is his podcast network.
Mm-hmm.
So then I was like, okay, well, if Colin Cowherd thinks I'm good at this, I probably should try it out. And that's really kind of, we flew out to LA. I'll never forget. I'd never been to LA before. I'd been to California. We played UC Davis and San Diego State, but I'd been to Cali, but never LA. And it was funny. They put us up in the Lowe's Hotel, and I have no idea, where I'm at until I walk out of the back of the Lowe's Hotel. And then it hits me when I'm looking at the beach. I'm like, I have ran over 1,000 people at least on this beach in Grand Theft Auto. The exact same beach. The layout was, I was like, wait, and there's the boardwalk with the Ferris. So I was like, oh my God. This is it. For a second, I was like, God, I hope the cops. I'm not one. I was like, oh, wait, it's a video game. But no, that was probably, and then we went and had dinner with him, and he was like, I want you to do that, and we want you to do a show with Bryce Young when he was at Alabama. And so, it all happened so fast, man. I was just kind of drinking through a fire hose, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And, we did almost 40 million views on YouTube last year alone. And, again, I always say I only know 4 things, and they all start with F. Football happens to be one of them. So that's kind of the best way to put it.
So, off topic a little bit. You talked about Grand Theft Auto. You excited for that launch of the new GTA coming up?
Man, look, I am, but now I've got a 2-week-old and a 20-month-old. And win. When now football season, I got no chance. Yeah. I got no chance. So I would look if I get the time. I would love to. I could play that game for hours, and I don't even have to do the missions or the heists.
I never
Just-
did the mission.
All I want to do is go jump into that military base and steal that jet. That's it. That's
That
all.
was
Jay could
always
do
the
that for
same thing.
hours.
I wanted to see how many cops I could get after me,
For
and
sure.
that was my. I didn't even do the mission. So
No, look, I'm 100% with it. I get it.
all right, man. So I don't want to cause a divorce, so I'm going to go ahead and since we got limited time with you, my friend. I want to go ahead and jump into the season, since that's what people probably really want to hear. So in the big picture of the 2026 national picture right now, you know, when you look at teams capable of making the playoff versus teams capable of actually winning the whole thing, what would be the biggest difference?
I think line of scrimmage. Because again, look, football is the sport of attrition anyway. The teams that win the most and the longest can win the most ways, and they have the most depth up front. Now you have a 12-team playoff where if you don't get the bye, you got to win 4 games in a row, and you know that's literally a third of the season tacked on to a normal 12-game regular season. So when I look at the teams that I think can actually win it, and to be honest with you, I feel like there's a decent amount this year that could, and there's even more that could make the playoff. You know, you look at a team like Texas Tech, per se. You know, Castellanos coming in. He's coming in really late. We'll see how that works out. I do think if he's able to pick it up and he can be effective enough to be electric enough in some of these games that they didn't have it at the quarterback position. But is Texas Tech good enough at quarterback to be able to win the whole thing? I feel like they're good enough up front. I feel like the run game's good enough, but you've got to be more balanced and you've got to be more dynamic against elite competition and talent that's the same and or better than yours. So that's kind of an example. You know, Miami's an easy one to look at and like because of the line of scrimmage. Ohio State, Notre Dame, I think, when you look at an offensive line and a front 7 on defense, that's about as good as you're going to get. And one of the reasons that Ole Miss has elevated themselves to a contender isn't because they're flashy and sexy on offense. They've always been that way. It's they've gotten a lot better on the offensive line their first 7 to 8, and then defensively they don't just have one guy that you can double or take out and the rest of the guys are average. So the difference maker is the depth along the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, in my opinion, especially when you have to play up to, you know, you could play with a conference championship game, and if you don't get the bye, 17 games. So you better have some soldiers in reserve.
Now you talk about the 12-team playoff. Now I do want to ask a shift on that a little bit. Do you think that the 12-team? This is a 2-part question. Do you think that the 12-team playoff, number one, has made it harder for the little guys to actually make a run? Because now even the big guys like Georgia, they can afford to lose a game or two and still make the playoffs, and could bump some of these other smaller teams out. That's number one. And number two is, do you think that they are diluting the actual season now? You know, with allowing so many different teams into the playoff. Do you think now that the regular season just isn't as important anymore?
Well, to the first one, no, I don't. I'll give you a great example. We had 2 group of 5 teams in it last year. I think maybe the greatest argument about how it hurts them is now they have to win more games as opposed to when Cincinnati made the 4 team, they just had to win 2. Well, now if you're a group of 5, I can go and tell you you're going to have to win 4. But you can't cry about access and then they let you in and then you cry about, oh, well, these teams are too good. Like, you can't continue just to cry. And I don't think a lot of the group of 5 teams have done that. So you either get the access to get in there and then it's up to you. I don't care how many games you have to win because other teams have to play that amount of games. Or you can cry about not having access in there, which means you're not getting a shot anyway. So if I was the group of 5, group of 6, whatever you want to call them, I'd just shut up and say thank you that we even reserve them a spot. I don't think we should. I don't think we should ban them from the 12-team playoff. Like, for example, if Boise State were to go undefeated and beat Oregon, and win the Mountain West, I think there's a good case for them to be the 12 seed. Navy, they go undefeated and beat Notre Dame and win some of those games. If it works out, you can make a good case for them. But no, I don't think it's harder because the access is easier. After that, look, it's just up to you. You can only cry for so long. The second part is I think this is when we talk about the number of teams in the playoff, that's not the biggest problem. The problem is how we pick the teams. And until we figure out the best, and I've got a way to do it, at least the way that I think works, until we have a better system of picking the teams, the numbers of teams doesn't matter. I'll give you an example. If I've got ingredients to bake a cake and the ingredients suck, I could make 100 cakes. They're all going to suck. It doesn't matter. It's not going to be like, oh, well, these first 50 were bad, but the next 50 are good. No, it's all the same ingredients. So at the end of the day, why are we... talking about the number of teams to me is like worrying about your drink spilling as the plane's going down. You got bigger stuff on the plate. You know what I'm saying? So like that kind of frustrates me. But I think it's circumstantial year by year. Now, do I think there's 12 teams that can win the whole thing this year? No. But God, it feels like there's 7, possibly 8 that could win it. That's why in my mind, when they were talking about expanding the playoff past 4, I always thought the right number was 8. 8 just seems right to me. Now, we can argue the mechanics of how you pick those 8 and what goes into the formula, the different variables, and what gets weighted the most. And that's a debate we need to have by people mathematically that are smarter than me. But at the end of the day, I do think anything past 8 is we're just basically giving out participation trophies. There may be a year or two where there's 9, possibly 10 teams that could win it. Somebody could get really hot. But at the end of the day, I think 8 is just right, which means they'll go to 24 next year.
Yeah, that's where they're on their way to, man. It's going to be basically like March Madness all over again. You'll have 64 teams pretty much for long.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you look at the championship contenders entering the season, you said you thought about, you could see a legitimate 7. Which team do you think has the fewest questions?
Man, that's a great question about questions. I would say teams that I look at and they look complete, right? That's the way I would put it. There's 2 that stand out in my mind, and some people, hate on them because one's in the ACC and the other one's not in the conference. I don't see a Notre Dame I don't see a weakness for Notre Dame or Miami. I just don't see it. I think Mensa's a better player than Carson Beck. The offensive line, that's Mario Cristobal's bag, baby.
Right.
I don't worry about the offensive line like I don't worry about Lane Kiffin's quarterback or Brent Venables' linebacker room, right? Or whether Brett Bielema is going to eat 11 cheeseburgers after the game. Like, some things are just going to happen. So I think the offensive line is going to be good. The wide receiver room, I like what they brought in to surround baby Jesus, Malachi Toney there. Defensively, Heatherman has totally turned that place around. I know they lost Bain and Mesidor, but they got some cats, and they brought in a guy. Damon Wilson's a freak out of Missouri. I think he's going to cause a lot of problems in Moton, and the guys they have up front, Scott and Lightfoot, I think, who's a little light in the ass, but he's gained some weight. I think he could end up being the most talented out of all of them. So I would say to me, it's Notre Dame and Miami, and Ohio State. Think there's a couple questions there. Not bad questions. It could turn out to be great. The offensive line and the run game, how's that going to adjust to Arthur Smith, the new OC's kind of more pro-style, 11, 12 a lot, hammerhead style of offense, work-off play action. With Texas, Arch Manning, can he continue to evolve throwing the ball? I've got to see it. I don't care what your name is. I've got to see it. Indiana, replacing Mendoza, a couple of those pieces that came over from James Madison, which is always a crazy thing to say. That's a big deal. They're going to be talented. I got to see if Josh won't turn the ball over. And then Georgia, can they rush the passer? They're a great stop in the run. Amazing athletes. Unbelievably talented. Kirby coaches them hard. They want to be coached hard. How does Georgia not have a guy that can go get the QB? And they want to make excuses like, oh, well, our linebackers, not your outside ones. They tried to tell me that inside linebackers were their best pass rushers. I was like, I don't care what scheme you run. If your inside linebackers are your best pass rushers, you're in trouble, buddy. I get playing the 3-4 and the jack or the joker or whatever you want to call him, coming down on the edge and putting his hands on somebody and pass rushing. I get that. But I think there's questions for a lot of people outside of Miami and Notre Dame. That's why I picked Miami Notre Dame to make the Final Four and Miami to win the whole thing.
Well, wow, that's pretty bold pick. That was one of my finishing questions. Who are you going to pick for the win?
We dropped the playoff prediction show today, so I'm hot and bothered.
Oh yeah. Well, I just got a text message from one of our contributors. His name is Shane. He's a Virginia Tech fan. So he wanted to ask me with James Franklin coming over, and they brought over a lot of people from Penn State and things, so that culture is going to be a bit different. Do you think Virginia Tech can surprise some people in the ACC this year?
Oh, for sure. I think Virginia Tech's a little bit dangerous because I think you're getting a very upset James Franklin. James Franklin had gotten comfortable at Penn State, did a lot of winning, won games he was supposed to win. Probably viewed himself as in the same likes as Ryan Day and Marcus Freeman and Kirby Smart, and all of a sudden he finds himself week 6 sitting on the set of Game Day after getting fired from Penn State after a bad season. So I think this has rejuvenated him. I think you're going to get the same James Franklin that took Vandy to 2 9-win seasons, which in my opinion creates an infinity stone. I don't care what Clark Lee's done over there. I watched James Franklin do it before. As far as personnel goes, I like Gronkemeyer. It's the line of scrimmage. I'm going to go back to it. That's the biggest thing he has to build. That's the most expensive thing you have to build because there's 5 guys on the offensive line and 4 on the defensive line as opposed to 1 quarterback or, 2 running backs at most, maybe 2.5. So, yeah, I think you're getting an angry James Franklin, which means you're going to get an angry Virginia Tech. And Virginia Tech should be angry. Like, I grew up, like I said, I'm from Lee County, Alabama. I grew up in Auburn, Alabama. I grew up, 2004, Auburn was playing Virginia Tech in the Sugar Bowl when Auburn was undefeated. I grew up with Michael Vick. You know what I'm saying? Like, the walkout for Virginia Tech is the most elite one there is. Enter Sandman's the most elite thing we have going. And that place is nuts about their football. They're psychotic about it like we are. That's why I think they'd fit fine in the SEC. So, yeah, and look, it's not like they're that far behind everybody else in the conference.
Right.
Like Miami, okay. SMU's cooking with Kevin Jennings. They're Louisville with Brom. But at the end of the day, it's not like you got to climb Mount Everest, man. You just got to climb on top of the Walmart.
Right. Yeah, like I said, I was kind of always perplexed on the whole James Franklin thing because I understood why. I didn't like how it happened. But a quick question about Penn State, right quick. For the longest time, I thought that they really bungled that coaching search, but then they ended up getting Matt Campbell. What do you think about that hire?
Well, it's almost like one of those football plays where you're watching the quarterback and you're like, no, and he just throws it up and then you're like, yes, like it works out like accidentally because that was not part of the plan.
No.
At Penn State, it didn't go according to plan at Penn State. But to Penn State's credit, they're such a big brand, right? They've got deep pockets. They're able to get away with it. And I'll give you another one in the Big Ten. I think Michigan backed into it too with what happened with Sharon Moore and then getting Whittingham. So you had 2 of the biggest brands in the Big Ten kind of luck out with really good hires. So, it wasn't pretty. But at the end of the day, man, if she kisses you, she kissed you. It don't matter if you screwed up the pickup line.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I was really, really concerned about that for the longest time because I was like, man, every time you turned around, somebody was rejecting Penn State. I'm a Gamecock fan also too, and I'm going to ask you a few questions about the Carolina Gamecocks here in a little bit. But one thing I want to ask you about Lane Kiffin, LSU. We've been waiting on Lane Kiffin to have the resources, even though I would say he had them at USC, but the resources he had at LSU. So do you think finally we get to see what Lane Kiffin's true ceiling is? And what do you think Lane Kiffin's true ceiling is? Do you think he's national championship or playoffs, or what do you think his ceiling as a coach with LSU is?
Well, at LSU, I watched one coach that ate the grass win a natty and another that smoked it win a natty. So, there's no reason why Lane Kiffin, who had 4 10-win seasons at Ole Miss, shouldn't or couldn't win a national title at LSU. I mean, LSU, again, has some built-in advantages, but they are also a place when they get hot, they get white hot. They don't get kind of hot. They go all the way. They finish it. $40 million roster. And everybody already hates him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he could save a van of burning puppies, right? Or he could put on a cape and protect Baton Rouge at night from burglars and car thieves and things like that. And everybody else would still hate him. So I don't blame him for trying to go out there and get DeQuan Wright. What are y'all going to do? Hate me more? But as far as the coaching aspect, I think one of the most underrated parts is he was able to keep Charlie Weiss Jr. and Blake Baker at LSU on the defensive side. I talked about balance when we opened this thing up. Balance keeps you on the beam. Again, the teams that win the most and the longest can win the most ways. You got to be able to win 17-14. You got to be able to win 45-42. I think this team at LSU can do that. He's got every resource available. There is no other school in that state that's a really good state to recruit as well that's going to challenge them. So, yeah, I think the sky's the limit for Lane. Whether you like him or you hate him or you love him or you despise him, he knows what he's doing when that ball kicks off. So I think for sure my brother picked him to win it today.
Me personally, I love Lane Kiffin. I mean, really, I might be on the outside looking in on that opinion.
Well,
I love Lane
well, for
Kiffin.
guys like us, he's great.
Yeah. Well, now getting to South University of South Carolina because I got a lot of Gamecock viewers here, so I gotta get some stuff on them. Um, you were high on South Carolina this year. I think you even predicted them to upset Georgia.
No, I think I got South Carolina 7-5, and I like Shane a lot. Shane's a great dude. He always, whenever we ask him for something, he always does it. Like he sent us a signed ball, all this stuff, and I love. She's a great dude, he's a family man. It's the offensive line, man. Like Lenore Sellers just ran away from everybody but the cops for the last 2 years. Like they haven't been able to protect him. If they can protect him, South Carolina's got some guys that can do some things. Now we're talking about a totally different story. So it's not like the whole house is on fire for South Carolina. It's just there's a fire in the attic and everybody knows it's up there, but nobody will go put it out.
Well, they brought in a new offensive line coach from Penn State.
Kendall Briles too at OC.
Kendall Briles. So I think that Shane is finally made the moves that everybody wanted him to make. Like when he got Dow Loggins as his offensive coordinator, we thought that was very lazy move. A lot of people would say or something like that because they were coming off a hot season with Spencer Rattler, and I think they could have went bigger. And now it looks like he's making the right moves. Like I said, Kendall Briles is a great move.
Yeah.
They got new running backs coach, so they're making moves. So
he's trying. Shane is trying. He's trying, and I hope it works out. Again, I hope when I come back on here, South Carolina was better than 7-5, and Shane's feeling good, feeling comfortable. I really hope that happens. It's just I can wish in one hand and do something else in the other and see which one fills up faster.
Well, see, me personally, I'm a little bit higher on them.
I don't think that's crazy.
On them. What's
You're
that?
betting on the offensive line. That's what you're doing.
Exactly. Because I have them at 8-4.
Okay, so it's not that far.
I actually have them winning their 4 out of their first 5 games, losing to Alabama, but Kent, Towson, and Kentucky and Mississippi State. I think they win, and like I said, I think they beat Clemson and a few others. But when we talk about a player like Lenore Sellers, you talk about him. How do you think now that he with the Kendall Briles style offense? Because now he's under his third offensive coordinator since he's been there. How do you think he's going to fit in with what Kendall Briles is wanting to do?
Well, a lot of it, and look, people run different stuff, but there's a lot of it that's the same. The difference is the verbiage, it's the terminology, it's what you call things. So there's only so many things you can do, but you can call it many different things. So a lot of it is learning the language. You have to get the Rosetta Stone of it to be able to understand it, to be able to speak it, to be able to communicate it, to be able to call it and check it, which I'm sure Lenoris will be fine. He's going to be a hell of a coach one day, all these offensive coordinators he's gone through. But what I like about Kendall is going to be malleable enough with his system to fit what he thinks Lenoris and this offense does best. This isn't this is the way I'm doing it, regardless of any of the personnel we have, that's how we're going to do it. That's not what Kendall's going to do. If they're struggling to run the ball, they're going to try and supplement it with the quick pass game. They're going to try and use Lenoris as much as possible in the run game to create that hat on a hat, even box situation with even our light boxes. You get to a heavy box, sometimes you just don't have enough cats there unless you're going to go diamond or wing T, and good luck with that. Not saying it doesn't work, but no, I really believe that this is going to be the best marriage, quarterback to offensive coordinator that they've had, and I'm excited. I'm sure Kendall is too. I mean, you show up on campus and you got a Lambo sitting right there. You just got to get in and drive it. You just got to know how it works.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, I'm going to ask you just a couple more questions. I'm going to get you on your way. I know, like I said, you got a 20-month-old baby.
Yeah.
Definitely want you to get down there and do your daddy duties as well. Couple quick questions though, man. So everybody's talking Arch Manning. Everybody's got him basically crowned the best quarterback, Heisman, all this stuff. At the end of the year, if I sit here in January, who do you think is going to be the best quarterback in college football? Will it be Arch or will it be the house?
Oh, I'm going to go the house because I just think Darian Mintz is going to have an incredible year. I think with the weapons they have, with the schedule they have, with the ability to run and pass and be unpredictable on different downs. I mean, Shannon Dawson, I think, feels more comfortable already with Darian than he did with Carson. And again, if it doesn't work out, or God forbid something happens to Mensa, you can always turn around and hand it off to that thing from the Avengers you got back there running the ball with that offensive line, or spit it to Malachi on the now or the bubble and let him go to work. So I would say it's Darian. With Arch, look, I don't know if Texas is going to win the whole thing. It can't just be on Arch's arm or Arch's playmaking ability. With the talent around him, with what they've added, with bringing Will Muschamp on defense, which is going to give him the ball back a little bit more from a turnover standpoint than they did with Pete Kwiatkowski. I think he doesn't have to be Batman. He just got to be a really good Robin. And really good Robins don't win the Heisman, but they've won a lot of titles. A lot of Alabama quarterbacks were really good Robins. So I think Arch could. I mean, he could go. I think he's got the ability to do it, but I don't think he has to do it. And I don't think Sark wants it to be, all right, Arch, just go out there and win us the game, please God. No, it's going to be, we're balanced, we're efficient, we take what's there, we're smart with the ball, we don't turn it over, but yet we are electric, and we can hit the home run plays with the players they have. So I would take Mensa against the field if you ask me. That's why I'm now a member of the Mensa Society.
Gotcha. Man, like I said, I didn't see that one coming, my friend. So now this is right here just gonna be a couple quick questions, just a couple short answers, and I'll have you on your way, man. Most overrated team right now.
Most overrated team right now. Wow, that's a great question. I would say, and this is always fun to do before the season, I would venture to say I think a lot of people are gassing up BYU, man. And I like BYU. I just think they're a good entree. They're like a good dinner at Chili's. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna go out there. It's gonna be good. You know what to expect. It's not gonna be too crazy. I've got Utah playing Texas Tech in the Big 12 title game. I don't have BYU playing them.
Now, pick a team outside the top 10 that we need to look at as possibly being a playoff team.
I'll give you one that's way down there, and not because I think they're amazing or this, that, and the other. If Penn State goes 10-2, it's going to be hard to keep them out. And I like Rocco Beck, some of the guys they brought over from Iowa State, some of the guys that stayed at Penn State. But I look at that schedule. I think it's the lightest schedule you have in the Big Ten. I wouldn't be shocked to look up here and Penn State's the 11 seed at the end of it in Matt Campbell's first year. So that's one. I think they're 17 in the coaches poll, 18 in the AP top 25. So I'll go Penn State. I'll go outside top 15 for you. How about that?
Yeah, that's going way down. I like it though, man. As a Penn State grad, I love it. Now, a couple more. Coach under the most pressure right now.
Coach under the most pressure. I would say Kalen DeBoer. Kalen DeBoer, new quarterback, hasn't won a title yet. I think there's a lot of pressure on him, and Sark probably close second.
Yeah, me personally, I would not want to take the job after Nick Saban because it doesn't matter what you do. That's where you're going to be at.
I mean, good luck, dude.
I said that was the worst job in football whenever it came open. A lot of people thought I was crazy, but I really do, man.
No, I just don't want to, again, it's tough. It's tough going into the candy business when your dad invented Snickers.
Yeah, exactly. Now, okay, so we talked about that. Now, a breakout star, a player who just isn't a household name that we're not talking about right now, but by the end of the year, everybody in college football is going to know by November.
I'm going to say Trey Green, LSU. Freak. Matchup nightmare. I don't know what you do with him. Other than poison his pregame meal, I don't know what you do with him.
All right. Now, team nobody wants to play.
Oh, God. Dude, God, Oklahoma, it's just they're so good on defense. It's got to be so bad in the training room the next day after you play these guys because Brent's got them biting through fences and stuff. And they're huge and they're fast and they just don't care about human life, which is what a good defense should be. I'd say Oklahoma because even if you win, it's like you wake up next morning, it's like, damn, like my legs broke and my brain doesn't work.
Now, last but not least, who do you think is going to be the Heisman Trophy winner?
Oh, Mensa.
Oh
Mensa,
man,
give me Mensa.
you all over it on this. On you.
Oh yeah, he's
Gotcha.
nice with it. Nice
All
with
right.
it.
Well, Jake, it's 8:34, my friend. So I kept you just a little bit late, my
That's all
friend.
right.
But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let you get on offer here. I got all your predictions on recorded right now. So in January, when I'm going to call you back in here and we're going to play this back. So we're
It's
going to
called
see how.
Look,
timestamp.
let's
We're going to
good.
timestamp you.
Yeah, good, bad, or indifferent, man. I'll face the music. Look, I'm not afraid of it. So it's
Now, Jake,
no, I appreciate.
you still
Go
have your
ahead.
connections with South Alabama?
Oh yeah.
That's actually where my family is from, is the Mobile region, and
Oh, nice.
my actual dad was the first computer engineering class ever to graduate at South Alabama.
Oh wow. Okay,
So
yeah. No, I
I have
love
a
my
lot of
time
family
in
ties
Mobile.
there.
I miss the seafood, man. Bluegill, I miss it bad. But no, I appreciate
Absolutely.
y'all having me. Nobody's screaming downstairs, so I think I got away with it.
Cool, man. Well, we'll let you go. Go tend to the baby and everything, man. I appreciate you giving me your time tonight, my friend.
All
And I
right,
look forward to
boys.
having you back again sometime.
Y'all be good. Brandon, I'll be praying for you, buddy.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you, Jake.
See you
Take care,
guys.
buddy. How cool is it to talk to Jake, man? That he is so awesome, and he's so down to earth, and his predictions are just next level. And I definitely, again, thank you, Jake, for coming on. We really do appreciate you. Now, Mark, you have a couple good more interviews coming up. Would you like to share with everybody who these interviews are?
Yeah, so basically tomorrow, first of all, we got Tom Heitler. He is the PA announcer for the Seattle Mariners. Really cool to talk to him because I know he's been on some games, Ken Griffey, Randy Johnson, stuff like that. So, he's got to see some really cool stuff with those teams. So, really excited about that one as a baseball fan. Monday, I'm really excited because as a diehard Gamecock, we're going to have Marcus Lattimore, full hour with him. So that was definitely going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait for that one. On September the 15th, because I don't have anything booked yet. I don't think between now and then. September 15th, we got Mike
Maniscalco.
Maniscalco.
I've had to work on that big time.
He is the voice of the Hurricanes. So we got him coming on the 17th. We got Dave Michigan from the voice of the Tampa Bay Lightning. On September 27th, I have Sam Farber. He is the voice of the Charlotte Hornets. Also, got him coming up. But right now, I'm still working on scheduling some more. Like I said, we just got some pretty big names, and if they go through, we're definitely gonna have a lot of good fun shows. But
And you have
yeah,
a new segment coming out. Officially will be on the website as well. What is that segment called?
that is now called Mark's Peanut Stand. And I need to get with Matt to make me an intro or something for this because I play y'all's intro and I'm not even on it.
Yes.
So, and Matt, if you're listening, I need you to hop on that one, my friend.
Yes, absolutely. It's going to be really exciting. And I want to give you guys updates on the website. It is almost coming to light, obviously, with the news that happened today of the family. We have to move it a little bit just because of everything that's going to transpire. But it's coming. I promise you, it is coming. Mark has seen the renderings, everything. So it's literally that close. So I want to let everybody know here is what is upcoming for the entire show series as well. On Friday, we have episode 256. It's Jeff Lucero. He is the PA announcer for the WNBA's Portland Fire. That I'm really excited
That's
about.
gonna be a lot of fun.
And then episode 257 will be Tuesday, September the 1st. Ben Caminos is a really good buddy of mine. He is a political anthropist, and also he is an avid sports lover. So he will be coming on to talk, of course, sports with us. We love talking with Ben. Ben's awesome. You guys will enjoy him. He's actually live right now if you want to go check him out on his YouTube page. Episode 258 will be Friday, September the 4th. Mike Maniscalco is coming also on our show. So we get 2 times to get and talk with him. We're really both Mark and I are kind of head over heels. We're excited about this. And then episode 259 will be Tuesday, September the 8th. Chris Lowe, formerly of ESPN, now On3 Sports, is joining us. So as you guys see, we have a lot of big things coming. We do have more sponsors who have also signed on with us. So we are beyond excited about that. We can't wait to share the information. I believe Matt's going to share the information with a few on Friday. If you yourself are interested in sponsoring our great network. Please send me an email at brandonkeeleronradio@gmail.com. Mark, give everybody your email in case they'd like to reach out to you as well about that.
Yeah, so right now my email is mjlivingston39@gmail.com.
Yes, and there is the flyer right there talking about it. Again, send us the email. We'll get you set up with some of the best rates there is. And we have a lot more things coming about. We have our sports store that is up, so check us out on that part as well. So we hope you guys got a real good feeling for this upcoming season. You know, Mark, I know you're excited. I'm excited about this too, but can you believe it,
Oh,
man?
oh man,
Football
can't
is
get it fast enough, man.
finally here. Like, where has it been? I feel like the world gets better when football is back. Because fall in general.
It's the time of the year that my wife always threatens to divorce me. So
I love those videos people post too. Like the wife walks, let's go do this, and then she looks and she sees. She goes, "What are you doing?" He goes, "It's football." No, like it's the end of the time, and there. My favorite one is when it was kind of an Xbox commercial too, where the dad is playing football, and they're like, "When's Daddy coming back? We miss him." And he randomly pops up, and they go, "Daddy, you stink. You need to take a shower." Well, the internet went down. That's why I'm here. That's kind of what it reminds me of. So, but yeah, guys, we are excited. It's finally here. Amen to that. I will be with the guys on Friday, but I'll be broadcasting from Atlanta, Georgia, because of the family tragedy that we have sustained. We'll talk more about that on Friday, but we hope you guys have a fantastic evening. Mark, give your final goodbyes, please, sir.
all right, you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Jake Crain is awesome. Definitely always love his takes. Tomorrow night, 8:30 Eastern time, I have the Tom Heitler from the Seattle Mariners tomorrow night. So, like just a little bit later show, but definitely excited about hearing what he has to say. But yeah, man, I am ready to go eat some dinner now. So,
And don't forget, y'all, tomorrow morning, 11 a.m., it'll be re-airing for Mark's interview from last night with Michael Roth. We're really excited. Check it out. If you guys are interested, please consider subscribing to our channel at the Sportsnuts 176. Follow us on all of our socials. You guys have a fantastic evening. As I always tell you guys, peace up, A-Town down. Why? It's the greatest sports day there ever was. We will be back with you on Friday for the Sports Nuts. But for Mark, he will be back with you tomorrow. You guys have a fantastic evening. Enjoy this great outro. And as always, goodbye.